Your personality, that's who you are. It's something we can't easily change. Based on your personality, some people may be attracted to you in good ways and sometimes in bad ways. If you're weak or you're vulnerable, physically or even mentally, you're a prime victim for someone to swoop in and make you feel special. Today, I want to continue my story behind the story. We're going to dig even deeper into the Hydra cult information. Who exactly falls prey to the Hydra cult and why? What is the driving force behind the leaders and the followers? Let's explore that. You can watch these out of order, my series of the story behind the story. There are already 4 videos before this one, and they are in a playlist. And I will link the playlist below and also right here. So welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Hi and welcome back. Before we get started, if you have been watching my videos, my content here on Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations, I would be very appreciative if you went ahead and hit the subscribe button. We also have a membership available for $1.99 a month, which gives you some perks like the emojis and the link to the Discord, a happy hour that we have once a month, which will be coming up next Friday. So you might want to consider that as well if you're enjoying the content and the community here at Left Undone. We have a very positive, good, kind group of people. In order to understand the cult that we are calling the Hydra cult, we have to take a deeper look at the human personality and personality disorder. Some people in society have personality disorders. As I give you more information about that, you will see how it is connected. I believe Lori, Chad, Julie Rowe, Melanie Pawlowski, and all the others that have fallen to this ideology, I believe they're all rather ill in some way, shape, or form. Mental illness comes in many, 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 many forms. Some mentally ill people are clinically ill and they have a chemical imbalance and they can take a medication that levels them out and they can just appear as normal as can be. It can do wonders for their debilitating mental illness. But personality disorders, we can't medicate them. The personality is who you are. You can't stop being who you are. I can't stop being who I am. And you just can't change your personality. If you did, it would take bounds and bounds of psychotherapy, really hard work, and determination in order for you to change who you are. And that holds true for people with these rotten personality disorders as well. There are 3 clusters of personality disorders. There's A, B, and C. A is odd or eccentric disorders. There's dramatic, emotional, erratic, which is B, and anxious or fearful disorders, which is C. We'll get into how this fits in a few minutes. Stay with me. One of my subscribers provided me with a lot of insight, and it really helped my research by her doing her research. When she emailed me, she said what was really crazy about this is she actually started researching these cults, this Hydra cult, before she ever heard the name of Chad Daybell. She was investigating other names that she knew of, and she did have a friend that had gotten involved with this ideology, and so she was trying to research to see what the heck was going on and what it was all about. Now, this is all based on research and theory when it comes to the Chad Daybell and Friends ideology. But based on what we know now, and all the information we have that's out available in the general public and been following this case for a year, it seems that Chad allegedly has a cluster B personality disorder. Cluster B disorders are antisocial personality disorder, O.J. Simpson, perfect example of that. Borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. Chad, very well, may also have a cluster A personality disorder, which, like I said, was eccentric or odd, and he clearly is both. But if we describe some of these personality disorders, there are a lot of characteristics that really truly seem to fit with both Lori and Chad and many of the other players. People with antisocial personality disorders seem to have a pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. They use deceit, manipulation, and they use it for personal gain. They might treat people harshly or lie and cheat, all to reap personal benefits. It's all about them. To me, one of the biggest and most interesting traits of this disorder is that they lack remorse for what they've done. This really sounds like Chad Daybell to me. From what we have current knowledge of, he doesn't seem very remorseful, does he, in any way, shape, or form. And then there's people with borderline personality disorder. They often have unstable personal relationships, and borderline can affect the way you see yourself. Symptoms include impulsive behavior, chronic feelings of emptiness, chronic feelings of abandonment, intense episodes of anger, and reckless behavior. Could this personality fit Lori Cox, Ryan Vallow, Daybell? Unstable personal relationships. Clearly, that is a Lori trait. 5 husbands by age 46. I would call that unstable. Then there's histrionic personality disorder. Often in socially inappropriate situations. They can have provocative interactions, theatrical expressions, and a false sense of intimacy. And I really think the more we get to know Lori, she does have quite a few of those. And remember Kay Vallow telling us about the dancey-do that Lori did on the computer that she found, the videos that were sent from Charles' computer to Chad of Lori doing her thing. I'm not sure how provocative they were, but my guess is they were probably pretty provocative. And then finally, in the cluster B personalities group, there is narcissistic personality disorder. And there's more, but I'm zoning in on the ones that seem to fit here. People with this personality disorder believe they're superior to others. This could also fit both Chad and Lori. I mean, hello, they are the king and queen, the 144,000. They were chosen to be the leader. They went around telling people, bye, hey, hi, I'm Lori. I just want to let you know that I'm the leader of the 144,000, along with my friend Chad here, husband. Well, he will be if we get rid of Tammy. And he and I are choosing people because we have been named to choose them. And so, would you like to be one of the 144,000? Now you have to get rid of your husband. You have to find a new one, but we can help you with that. Right, Chad?
Right, Lori. Yeah, I think you'd be a good candidate for 144,000. No, go ahead and turn it down if you want, but, you know, you're going to be left behind.
Okay, enough of that. Now, the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder include extremely negative reactions to criticism, elevated sense of self-importance, preoccupation with grandiose thoughts of success, and excessive need for admiration. Again, fits right in, right? And a strong sense of entitlement. Again, let's just wipe out these people. Get rid of Tammy, get rid of Charles, get rid of kids. You know, we're entitled to lead the 144,000 and be the king and queen and be the best of everything. And all you other people are just in our way. So peace out. People with this disorder often show lack of empathy. They may exploit personal relationships to elevate their self-image, which again, clearly happened here, very much so. Now, I know we're not doctors, and it is out of my scope of practice as a registered nurse to diagnose anyone. But when you look at these personality characteristics when it comes to personality disorders, and nothing else makes any sense why these Daybell people could actually plan, execute, and hide the murder of J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, Tammy Daybell, and Charles Vallow. There's something not right in their heads, clearly. So, what do we know about cults? First of all, cults are made up of top-tier leader group. And you can think of cult leaders that are implemented. Cult leaders have charismatic personalities, fringe beliefs, lust for power. They have inspired hundreds to follow their unconventional philosophies, ideologies, with often tragic results. Think about Charles Manson and the murders, David Koresh, Jim Jones. That's only to name a few. These cult leaders are almost certainly cluster B and possibly cluster A disordered. So when you think of people with these enormous personalities and the ability to manipulate and their lack of empathy, why would anyone be ready, willing, and able to join their dangerous ideology and their teachings that most of us would never, ever, ever fall victim to? Most of us are still like cranking our heads to try to figure out why and how they could believe such garbage. So who are these people that were swooned by these monsters, I'm going to call them, and became followers? Well, they most likely are people with cluster C personality disorders, anxiety, depression, paranoia. Intense anxiety and fear mark cluster C personalities. There's a couple of different disorders in this group, avoidant and dependent. People with avoidant personalities, they experience shyness, unjustified fears of rejection. They often feel very lonely, but a lot of times they won't just go out and make new relationships with people outside of their family. And other traits of an avoidant personality disorder would be oversensitive to criticism and rejection and regularly feeling inferior or inadequate. Dependent personality disorder is another one, and that causes people to rely too much on others to meet their physical and emotional needs. That often stems from not trusting themselves to make the right decisions. Other traits of this personality disorder, lacking the confidence to take care of your own self, or even making small decisions is very difficult. Feeling the need to be taken care of, having frequent fears of being alone, being submissive to others, having trouble disagreeing with others, tolerating unhealthy relationships or abuse. They sometimes feel overly upset when relationships end, and they are desperate to start a new relationship right away. We could probably put both Melanie Pawlowski, Melanie Boudreaux Pawlowski, Brandon's ex-wife, the niece of Lori Vallow. We could put her in that category for sure, as quick and fast as she married Ian, and also even Melanie Gibb. She left and was with David very quickly, from what I'm understanding. I feel like both Melanies could have been sucked in based on their need to fit in, their need to be taken care of, their lack of confidence, their fear of being alone, being submissive to others, and having trouble disagreeing with others. It fits both of them very, very well. Now, looking at the leaders versus the followers, we can see a pattern. In this day of social media, where you can connect with people all over the planet, and you don't even need a portal to do it. You can do it right here on your computer. Wow, Lori and Chad thought you needed portals for that. Take Christopher Parrott and his Avow group. This group has, as we spoke of before, many different membership levels. The more you pay, the deeper you go. So the most loyal followers of Vow, they pay more, right? And when they pay more, they have access to anyone that can be passed off as a prophet. The group is giving people access and importance by what level they pay. It sure seems after all the money they collect, they really don't care about the ramifications for others. Remember in a previous video how they had Julie Rose books and were promoting them and bringing in so many new people? Cha-ching, cha-ching. Julie Rose was a cash cow for them when her books first came out. But we know that eventually all blew up and Julie was sent packing. Peace out, Julie. Bye-bye. See you later. See you never. So when that happens, they begin to promote others. And that is how the Hydra cult works. One gets kicked, promote others into this prophet elevation. So when they lose one moneymaker, others are promoted and they become the prophets on the site. Now, the person that reached out to me and did research on this subject does have experience in researching relationships and human behavior. She said she's always looking for research to explain behavioral patterns. And with her research, she actually did visit many different individuals who were members of a vow. She said so many of them were getting sucked in and they had anxiety and they were beginning to develop special thinking and all were involved in energy work. Again, look at us. We are the king and queen. We are the narcissists. We are the ones that you all admire and we admire and you admire. And you are this little, poor little squirrely person with anxiety. And we're going to tell you how fabulous you are. And you've had all this confusion and anxiety and fear. And this group brings you in and makes you feel special. Tells you you have special thinking and gets you started on the energy work. Also, there's a possibility, and many people have mentioned this in the comments on my channel, that Chad, Lori, Alex were experiencing possibly what is known as folie à deux. The definition of that, it's a mental disorder affecting two or more individuals, usually the members of a close family. And to me, this makes a little bit of sense because that would account for why so many began to believe Chad's version of things. Look at his 3 children that sat behind him in court recently. All 3 of them with smiles on their faces, and right behind him, he murdered their mother, and there they sit. Clearly in support of Chad. Because in my opinion, they would have been sitting on the other side if they were for their mother or further back. So, I'm going to assume that they have also fallen into the trap of this Chad's belief system and this brainwashing and this ideology and this personality where they have been groomed. Now, Lori, she was groomed too. She was groomed by when she started reading Chad's books, and she read them for some time before she met him. She read Julie Rose books, and as Charles said, she was losing it for a few years. Lori was losing it before Charles even ever heard of Chad Daybell. We have to know that it isn't all Chad. Lori already had her delusions of grandeur and narcissism. Her personality was already disordered. Chad didn't cause that. That was her personality that she got by being a product of her environment being raised. Remember, she put Tylee and Colby through so much drama with her divorce from Joe Ryan. There was paranoia, there were lies, mental abuse, all during her divorce to Joe Ryan. She even got Alex on board during that time, and he tasered Joe Ryan just because Lori convinced him that Joe Ryan was abusive. So once Lori began following Chad's teachings, she was groomed to believe she was exactly the special being that Chad told her she was. Head of the 144,000 and so much more.
Oh, Lori, you're just amazing. I was married to you in a past life. You are just the most amazing, amazing. God has called you to me because we are going to do this. We are going to save ourselves and the people that are worthy of being saved. We also know that Chad had been planning Tammy's death for several years with Julie Rowe. So Lori was fed that idea by him. We know this right out of Julie Rowe's mouth. I cried, he cried, he told me Tammy was gonna die, I cried, he cried, blah, 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 Julie Rowe. But with Chad, it turned into this spiritual quest, and Lori didn't need any other reason except for she was told and believed and liked the idea that she was a god. At that point, nobody was safe. Ain't nobody safe around them at that point. That was it. Disaster waiting to happen, unfortunately. Even though Charles really, really, really tried, and it's heartbreaking to know that it could have been stopped. So really, Chad didn't make her worse. He just opened the portal, opened that door for her to adopt the crazy platform. Come on into my portal in my closet.
Now, go back and really think about Alex. With his loyalty to Lori and believing what she fed him about Joe Ryan, that was most likely Alex's turning point in regards to loyalty to Lori. He had bought into her version, as they say, hook, line, and sinker. He bought into it so fully that he was willing to commit a felony and go to prison for her with Joe Ryan. So that meant that this whole thing with zombies and his role as her guardian angel, as he was told by Chad, he was never going to question any of that. He already knew that he was Lori's savior, helper, evildoer of the things that she needed done. He proved his loyalty, and at that point, he would have probably found it really difficult to turn back. When Lori followed Chad, Alex followed Lori. And we can say Melanie P as well followed Lori. Alex never seemed very conflicted about killing Charles. He most likely believed the BS that Lori fed him. I mean, it happened before with Joe Ryan, and look what he did. This was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels up. This wasn't a taser. This was more than a taser. And he actually knew that he was risking a felony, murder, and prison for his little sister. My personal opinion, I do believe that Alex was the shooter. Just because of history kind of makes it look that way. I agree with the Woodcocks that he was ambushed. Charles was ambushed. And they were waiting for him. Lori said she left before the shooting happened. But why would she have Charles' keys? If she had already left, why would she have had Charles' keys when he was alive? Would he hand it to him? Like, oh, here. No. She had to get those keys from Charles. Take him out of his hand, take him out of his pocket. He was already shot when Lori got those keys. Lori had to have jumped in the rental car after he was shot. That's the only thing that makes sense. Only thing. Which makes it really, really even more sad that the police didn't do their work on this case, because I'm not a police officer. But we were able to look at this and see that that would have had to have asked more questions on that one. They should have put them both in separate rooms, questioned, and It was so open and shut, it's pathetic. Drove them back home so they could have a pool party. The subscriber of mine that did a lot of this research and shared it with me, she said she doesn't believe that Alex had very much conflict about shooting Charles, but she believes that possibly he had some kind of a struggle knowing he killed the kids. Alex told Melanie Gibb that he believed this zombie insanity. Melanie said, I asked him if he believed it, and he said, yes, I do. Knowing that, he most likely really did believe that Charles, JJ, Tylee, and Tammy were all zombies, and he was going to do what it took to rid the world for Lori. And after seeing all of Ian's notes, which we really need to revisit, I also believe that Melanie Gibb and Melanie Pawlowski truly believed in this zombie nonsense. Now imagine what went through Alex's mind when Chad and Lori told him that he had become a zombie. Whoa. He would have known exactly what that meant. You would have thought that in a normal person, well, believing in zombies isn't normal, but if a normal person had somehow gotten that far, you would have thought that would have woken them up. Alex, at that point, he should have realized that it was all a lie, but Alex did drink that Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid was already down. You know, a lot of people say that they believe that Alex actually did commit suicide. I go back and forth on how could he have ensured himself that he would have pulmonary embolisms, but we don't know what Tammy's autopsy showed. Did it show pulmonary embolisms as well? And was there a poison in her system? So my subscriber did say that she believes that Alex killed himself with the same substance that was used to kill Tammy. And that makes a heck of a lot of sense, man, because Alex would have known what they used. He tried to shoot her, that failed, had to come up with something, and his trip to Mexico for medicine still gets me. What did he go get? So maybe it was too much for Alex, or he believed he was a zombie. What on earth, right? Are our minds that impressionable, even as an adult? My subscriber also said that she believes the web of individuals involved is actually insane and quite large. And I do agree with that, especially after the charges were announced for Chad and Lori's charges of murder, and that there are co-conspirators, both known and unknown. I think more stuff's going to come down, and I think it's going to happen pretty soon. We know that Julie Rowe is still definitely gathering her naive followers, her people that believe the bullshit, her people that think she's something spectacular, while the rest of us go, oh, Julie, you really need help. But there's people out there that drink the Kool-Aid and they buy into it, and they're buying into it. I read her comments. There's people that actually truly think that Julie Rowe is some phenomenon. Oh, she's a phenomenon, all right. I'm just gonna leave that one there. Her naive followers are following her, and she's pulling in the dough. Cha-ching, cha-ching for Julie. Tears and all. In my opinion, she's one of the people that started this entire mess. She started it with her books and her ability to have such a big following, and people bought her bullshit. She had a huge following on Avow. It made Avow money. And it was done with Christopher Parrott's blessing. By the way, we will keep you posted on the book that I'm co-authoring with Ron Hensley. We're excited to share Rid the World with all of you. We'll keep going with this. Thanks again for watching Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Stay safe, stay well, and enjoy the world, because it has finally begun to lift the grips of that horrible pandemic.